I will forever die on this hill, and I can promise you that you'll make more money if you do this. So if you run ads and or you don't run ads, you get a lot of organic traffic to a landing page for a product, a solution, coaching, consulting, whatever it is that you sell. I can promise you, if you are not doing these 5 things, these 5 principles, you are losing money for your business. So to take this even further, if you do run ads and you have great ads, you're getting really healthy clicks, so on and so forth, people go to a landing page and then your conversions completely plummet. It's because you're not doing maybe all 5 of these or at least a portion of these. So let's go through how to master building landing pages, and you can go take this, you can apply it, but more importantly, you can fundamentally understand it, and you can plug these principles into AI, and you can have AI help you. So let's dive into this. Now, number 1, you should be spending 80% of your efforts on the above the fold of your landing page. If you guys don't understand what the above the fold is, that is essentially your hero section. To give you guys an example, which would be like this right here. So if it's more of an e-commerce based product, it will look like this. If it's more of a VSL, book a call, webinar, challenge funnel, it's going to look something like this. Now, the reason that that's important, scroll back up here, is because once you've written your headline specifically, which is this, you've spent 80 cents of your advertising dollar. It is super, super critical that you take the time and the effort and the energy to nail this above the fold portion, because statistically 60% of people are not going to go beneath that. So if you don't hook people within the first 5 seconds, you have lost them. So have a very compelling headline that ties to the end outcome of the end user. So whatever your consumer wants, your headline should be talking about that. So don't waste time explaining who you are and what you do, and just don't have vague text or copy. It's not what people are there for. They want to know, can this person solve my problem? And the way that they're going to know that is, does your headline, subheadline, and video, if you have a video or if you have photos, does it pertain to them? Can they resonate with it? And are you speaking the language that they want to solve the problem that they have? So next is the subheadline, which is like, this is a really good example. I've already used it right here. Mastering landing pages. That's probably the first thing that caught your attention, because this is visual hierarchy, which I'll go through in a second. And then you have the 5 key principles I've highlighted that you need to understand. Headline, subheadline, and I highlighted the thing to catch your attention. So subheadline, and specifically for this funnel, if you're running or this landing page rather, if you have a VSL, or you're doing like a book a call funnel, webinar funnel, again, challenge funnel, anything like that, but really just in general, your headline and subheadline are going to play together typically, and your subheadline is going to elaborate on the headline and or further outline the benefit to the consumer. So I'll give you guys some examples of that below. And then next is social proof. If in the above the fold, what you want to do if you can is ideally have 2 forms of social proof above that fold. So that could be something like, and I'll give you guys examples of this, 500 5-star ratings from Trustpilot. And then beneath that, you'd have a banner of the companies you've worked with. But there's more to it than that. So I will share that beneath. Next, number 2, people buy with emotion, not logic. If you've ever worked in sales, you've probably heard this. When a person comes to your landing page, they have a feeling, and you need to tap into whatever that feeling is. The 2 easiest ways to do that is through images, videos, and powerful messaging via copy. Now, one of the ways to do that, one of the principles is problem, explain their problem better than they can, agitate that problem, and then have the solution, solve it. And if you can do that, those 3 things, then they're thinking, okay, this person knows me, they know my problem, and now I also know they have a solution, which is whatever you sell. Next, when a consumer reads your landing page, they should feel like you can better articulate their pain than they can, and you also have a solution to that problem, which is your offer, your product, or whatever it is that you sell, which I just covered. Number 3, humans have short attention spans. I think we all know this. If you've made it to this point in the video, you are defying that logic, so kudos to you. But on average, most people have very, very short attention spans, and they can't stick through something. And so for that reason, your pages need to be scannable and easy to consume. Now, here's some ways that you can do that if you're thinking, like, what does it actually mean tangibly? You want to have headings, subheadings, bullets, bold text, highlighted text. Those are examples, right? You can have also images that can illustrate a point. An image is worth 1,000 words. So whatever you can do to dumb down things and make it easily scannable, it makes it very, very easy for the consumer to know what's going on. So I can break down some more examples of that below. Number 4, social proof alone can sell your product. I promise you that, but you need to leverage it correctly. Here are some key components to keep in mind. So this is a really important one. I see this all the time. I've made the mistake of doing this. I still do it sometimes, and I need to get out of the habit of it, just full transparency. But if you're going to use featured on logos, those are fine. They're actually really good to use. But add a snippet of what was actually said by the company or whoever you're highlighting, and that will drastically help with believability. So I'll give you guys an example of this. If you're going to use these companies like Google, Vogue, Today, whatever, use what was said in whatever they talked about your product. So that could have been like an article that they wrote or a commercial or whatever it was. And here's another example. If a company said something about your product, put the quote about what they said about the product underneath the image. It's a lot more believable. Another example would be, no one is going to believe reviews without details. So here's a really bad example. I see this all the time when we work with clients and we're redoing their landing pages. They'll have just like generic stuff with a quote from a name. It's like, oh, there's a name there. Nobody knows who the hell that person is. So you need to make sure that it's believable by having things like photos, or having a video attached as well is very helpful with a quote, and also the outcome that you got them. I could do a whole video on testimonials and how to do them, but this is just a really example of bad and great. So another good example would be you have a quote, and then you have a headline, and then you have a photo of the person, their name, maybe the company they've worked with, or some social proof, and then where they actually wrote the review, so somebody can click on it and they can verify that source. Next, the social proof you leverage should pertain to objections and key questions your prospect is thinking, not just random quotes and screenshots that have nothing to do with what you sell. That's really important because a lot of you guys don't have social proof, and so you try to just leverage anything you've got, and you end up putting random things on your landing page that don't pertain to what the person that's reading it wants to know. So ideally, if you can, if you have a lot of social proof, you want to leverage it in a way where it answers key questions and objections that a consumer is thinking. And so whatever that might be for you, I don't know what you sell, I don't know who's watching this, but think through the most common objections you get on a sales call or the bad reviews you've got. You want to answer those questions with the social proof. Number 5, visual hierarchy is critical to make your page easy to consume. The really good way to think about this is less is more. So when you give people way too many options, they don't know what to do. And when consumers are confused, they drop off, and that's going to kill your conversions. So I'll give you some examples of that. But really quick, simplicity beats creativity. So creativity is a good thing. I'm supposed to say thing, but use it cautiously, right? You don't want to be so creative that it looks insane and it's super, super unique, and that's great. But if it kills your conversions, then that doesn't matter. Right? At the end of the day, you're trying to make more money with what you sell. You're trying to grow your business. You can look as fancy as you want, but if you're not getting conversions, it doesn't matter. So here's some examples of really bad. To give you guys an example of having way too many options, there's no visual hierarchy here, right? It's really confusing. There's a million things going on. You've got a bunch of banners up here. Febron Premium, I don't even know what that is, right? So your eyes don't know where to go. There's no visual hierarchy here. There's no top to bottom. There's no clear CTA. So that's a bad example. This is another bad example, and this is closer to good, but there's still way too many things going on here. Now, some good examples would be something like this. You have a big, bold headline, social proof, great. And then you have a subheadline. Now, this is a good example. Everything you need to transform your body after 40 all in one place. And then the subheadline ties to that. We help women over 40 thrive through every stage of menopause by rebuilding their strength, confidence, and metabolism with the WB4 method. Now, this is a whole different conversation that I can have in the future about unique mechanisms, but the WB4 method creates an open loop in the consumer's mind where they're thinking, what does that even mean? And they want to know more, so then they're going to watch the VSL or consume the rest of the landing page. Really good example. Here's another one. We build you systemized personal brand, so you can close more deals faster at higher margins without being on every call. This is probably the pain points of the consumer. So the headline calls out what they want, subheadline further edifies that, and then there's a VSL below, schedule a demo. Here's Hormozy. I'm sure you guys, a lot of you guys have probably seen this. Where you think limiting your business, join our scaling workshop, remove yourself as a single point of failure. This is the pain point that the consumer has that goes to these workshops. And then this is kind of unique, but they do a subheadline underneath the VSL, which isn't typical, but you can obviously do that. Now, if you guys like this, I just want to be clear that I have this right here is probably a $10,000 training in and of itself. This took me so long to build. We have templates for all of our clients that we work for and the funnels that we build. So that's VSL funnels, webinar funnels, challenge funnels, lead magnet funnels, low ticket funnels, community funnels. I could go down a whole list. We have hours and hours and hours of training on every single one of these with SOPs attached, with documentation, with literally every single step you can think of. So if you guys want to see more of these, I'm more than happy to do them. If you guys have never seen my content, what we are is a digital marketing agency, and we scale companies with modern marketing. And so a lot of what we do is building funnels, but the way that we really make the money is by ads. We design ads, we script ads, we basically do everything head to toe. So if you guys want to learn more about digital marketing, if you want to, scale your company with marketing, this is the place to be. So I hope you enjoyed it. Share it with somebody if you got value. Make sure to follow if you're not following. Drop any comments or questions you have down below. And if you want help scaling your company and you're doing over $100,000 a month, click the link in my bio. Peace.